Every morning, as the school bus rumbled down the road, Kayla's stomach twisted into knots. The thoughts that kept her awake the night before came crashing into her mind again. What if they make fun of me today? What if they laugh at my clothes? What if they call me fat again? These questions had been a constant part of her life for as long as she could remember, and no matter how hard she tried to ignore them, the reality was inescapable. She was always the target. Kayla was never what people considered thin. She had curves, and while her friends would reassure her that her body was fine, she couldn't escape the harsh words from her classmates. The whispers in the hallways, the snickers during gym class, and the cruel comments that seemed to follow her every move became part of her daily routine. It wasn't just the boys who made her feel invisible. It was the girls, too. Her weight became the subject of ridicule, and she couldn't escape it. They called her names: fatty, chunky, heifer, every cruel label you could think of. Some of the more aggressive ones would even push her around, making her feel like an outsider in her own school. For years, Kayla had taken it all in silence, hiding behind the thick walls she built around her heart, trying her best to smile through the pain. But deep inside, she was breaking. The mirror in her bedroom became a source of shame, and the reflection staring back at her seemed like someone she didn't even recognize anymore. She hated the way she looked, and no amount of self-love could shield her from the relentless taunts. That all changed the summer before her senior year. Kayla decided she wasn't going to take it anymore. She couldn't. Every day she looked at her phone, scrolling through social media, and seeing other girls who seemed to have it all together. Perfect bodies, perfect lives. She hated that feeling, but it sparked something in her. What if she could change? Not for anyone else, but for her. What if she could stop hiding? She made a commitment. Kayla started working out, slowly at first. She didn't want to become obsessed, but she wanted to feel better, to feel strong. She joined a local gym and began working with a personal trainer. It wasn't about losing weight to fit into a specific image. It was about regaining control of her life and her body. She worked hard, pushing herself further each day, and it wasn't easy. There were days when she felt like quitting, days when the scale didn't move as much as she hoped, and days when the bullying at school seemed like too much to bear. But something in her had changed. Kayla no longer saw herself as the victim. She saw herself as someone who was capable of making a change. The gym became her sanctuary, the one place where she could focus on herself and her growth. And with every drop of sweat, she began to see the progress. Not just physically, but mentally. She was becoming stronger, both inside and out. The first day of school came, and it was different. Kayla knew the whispers would start again. She knew the teasing would continue. But this time, she didn't care. She was ready for it. She walked into the school with her head held high, her posture straight, her shoulders broad, and her heart full of confidence that she hadn't had before. The moment she stepped onto campus, she could feel the eyes on her. Her classmates stopped mid-conversation, staring at her with wide eyes. It wasn't because she looked different in a way they expected. It was because she radiated confidence. Her transformation wasn't just about her body. It was about her mindset. She was no longer the quiet, shrinking girl. She was someone who had taken control of her life and her destiny, and her presence alone spoke volumes. As she walked through the hallways, she couldn't help but notice the shocked looks on the faces of the students who had taunted her for years. They were speechless. She wasn't the same Kayla they had picked on and laughed at anymore. She was different, stronger, healthier, and confident. And then, during lunch, something incredible happened. Kayla sat down at her usual table, but this time she wasn't alone. One of the popular girls, Jenna, who had always been one of the main bullies, hesitated before sitting across from her. "Hey, Kayla," Jenna said, her voice soft. "You've changed. You look amazing." Kayla looked up at her, surprised but not angry. "Thanks, Jenna," she replied with a small smile. "It's been a long summer." Jenna smiled back, though it was a little awkward. "You know, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much we were hurting you." Kayla took a deep breath. "It's okay. I'm not angry. I just needed to learn how to love myself again. I'm not going to let people like you make me feel bad about who I am anymore." The conversation didn't last much longer, but it didn't need to. Kayla knew what had just happened. Jenna had acknowledged the pain she caused, and more importantly, she had seen Kayla's strength. The tables had turned. Kayla had taken control, and the power was no longer in the hands of the bullies. By the end of the week, the whispers had stopped. No one dared to make fun of her anymore. And when Kayla looked into the mirror, she didn't see the girl who had been taunted for years. She saw someone entirely different, a young woman who had found her voice, her strength, and her worth. And the best part? She was just getting started. If Kayla's story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories of transformation, resilience, and self-love. You never know, your journey could be the next one we share.